First, we are taking you to a live Doppler 13 radar look because we definitely have some rain coming down to the metro this morning. You probably feel it as you're getting your day started.
Absolutely. It's a wet one out there, but we got you. Good morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us right here on 13 Sunrise. I'm Felicia Lawrence. I'm in for Julia Moffitt for a few days.
And I'm Julia Brooks. Chuck Lofton, what do we need to know about the weather before we walk out the door this week?
Well, it's nice to have some wet pavement, isn't it? And honestly, all that we're seeing in the metro is some sprinkles and light drizzle. We did have heavy rain earlier this morning, and as you'll notice, a lot of that continues to really pinwheel out of the area, at least for now. Richmond, Connorsville, good morning. All of you folks in Brookville at the reservoir, you're seeing some heavy rain there near Portland, where they're doing the cleanup to the damage to the middle and junior and senior high school there in Portland, but that stretches over towards Marion at Indiana Wesleyan and Kokomo, seeing some rain at this hour too. Now, earlier this morning we were talking about the formation of a tropical storm. It's not there yet in the south part of the Gulf, but it will be by later today. It's a tropical depression. That's going to bring us some heavy rain, we believe, at times Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we're not there yet. So we're going to look at the possibility of some rain here. Do want to mention that Greencastle and Terre Haute right now, visibility is near zero, so keep that in mind. And it's kind of a soupy mix because it feels very moist out there. Relative humidity close to 100%, even in areas where it's not raining. 66 here, 65 Lafayette, 69 in Shelbyville. You're going to get a little spray off the roads as you drive on our interstate system this morning. 69 degrees. We could see some more showers or thunderstorms pop up pretty much at any time during the day today, but it will not be an all-day rain. Still a high of 75 degrees with a chance for rain and some thunderstorms. And Lindsay, this morning in traffic, boy, it's been busy at this location at 65.
Yeah, 65 in Keystone. So this is on the near south side. Wanted to start here because this is the biggest ongoing issue right now across the metro. It was an earlier incident, and it's basically taking place here in the median, but it's blocking the left lane of travel in both directions of I-65 at Keystone Avenue. This will take potentially some time to clear. So as we're starting to get closer to that peak morning rush hour, we are starting to see some slowed traffic around that incident. Want to show you what this looks like approaching that spot. This is where they've got one travel lane blocked, the left lane coming up the 65 corridor. So this is just a little farther south from there. This is where we'll be watching to see if that backup does in fact continue to become an issue. As of right now, it's just a 1-minute slowdown. Well, that just improved to no slowdown. So that's some good news coming up 65 northbound, but we'll keep an eye on that delay and give you an alternate route if needed.
Thank you, Lindsay. Right now, we are working to find out the condition of a man pulled from a pond on the city's far east side. This happened last night near 38th and German Church Road at the Spanish Oak Apartments.
Right now, we know it happened, and the investigators are saying that witnesses saw the man fishing with a friend. So the man then got into the water but did not come back up. Shortly after, first responders were on the scene, and within minutes, they started CPR immediately.
Generally, during a drowning, a victim can be revived within, they call the golden hour, within 1 hour if CPR is started right away, and that's what we did.
And so firefighters are using this case as a reminder that retention ponds is a place where you want to be careful, as they can be potentially dangerous. Well, in just a few hours, 2 men accused of road rage shooting at a local McDonald's are expected to be in court. The shooting happened after a U-turn at a drive-thru turned into a fight and shots were fired, police say. So it's court documents that reveal 3 people in a green Ford Taurus told police they were leaving the McDonald's on Friday night near 21st and Shadeland, but they realized their order was wrong, so they turned back. Well, 2 men behind them allegedly yelled at them, and that's when one of the men started shooting, allegedly. The other driver also pulled a gun and fired back, police say.
Targeted violence during a road rage like this not only puts the people involved in the road rage at risk, but think about 8 o'clock in the evening, a very, very busy area in the parking lot of a very busy restaurant. In that moment, dozens, if not more, lives were put on the line.
So investigators were back at the scene collecting more evidence, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on this story as soon as we learn more info.
And investigators, they have collected more evidence at the scene today. The 2 men in the escape were arrested for attempted murder. The man who was shot is out of the hospital. And this morning, we're learning a pedestrian hit by an IMPD officer has died. So the officer hit Rodney Huffman on September 15th near Michigan Road and Doubletree Boulevard. Police think he was crossing the road when an officer in a marked car pulled out of a parking lot, and then they hit him. So right now, IMPD's accident investigators and internal affairs detectives are conducting separate investigations.
New developments this morning. The city of Indianapolis is one step closer to passing a new ordinance cracking down on those illegal street takeovers we've been talking about.
City county councilors introduced a proposal last night, and Matthew Foltz is live with more on why city leaders say this proposal is so important.
Yeah, good morning to you both. Right now, councilors say simply enough is enough when it comes to these street takeover events. And right now, they want to do everything they can to hold those participants accountable and make sure it doesn't happen again. Now, last night, councilors introduced a proposal that would essentially carry fines up to $250 for anyone who planned, participated, or attended any of these illegal street events. Cars would also be impounded. The proposal comes less than a week after Metro Police and state troopers say they were met with violent crowds when they tried to break up one of these street takeover events. Police say they had their cruisers smashed with baseball bats and cans of gasoline thrown at them. Now, under this new proposed ordinance, again, those fines would be in place, and councilors say they're willing to do whatever it takes to support IMPD and put this to an end.
We give him all the resources possible that he needs to bring this to an end. So if they want to have that fight, we'll take it to him as well. I have complete confidence in our chief and our men and women IMPD that will address this issue and get this under control and bring us back to a civilized city that we're supposed to live in for all of our people.
Now, this proposed ordinance will now head to the Public and Criminal Committee on Wednesday. If it's approved, it will then go back to the council for a vote sometime in October. Of course, the chief of police as well as Mayor Hogsett both weighing in on this new introduced ordinance. You'll hear statements from them coming up at 6:30. Ladies.
Thank you, Matthew. The judge in the Delphi murders case will decide whether to let jurors see the crime scene for themselves.
Early yesterday morning, the defense team asked that jurors be taken to walk the trail the girls likely took to the Monon High Bridge. They want jurors to see where the suspect, Richard Allen, supposedly parked his car and to see the woods where the victims were found, where one of them recorded the suspect saying "down the hill," that video. Well, our legal expert attorney, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, says the defense may want to help jurors visualize what might or might not have happened.
I anticipate what we will hear from them is that it's not plausible that Allen could have done this. We've already had a preview of their defense in terms of believing that there was more than one actor.
So Richard Allen's trial is scheduled to start in 3 weeks. He's accused of killing Libby German and Abby Williams about 7.5 years ago now.
And this morning, the family members of a northern Indiana man who died in police restraints is asking to see the police body cam.
His name is Riker Earl. He died earlier this month, and his family is pretty vocal about wanting answers. Sia New Yorker is here in studio with the latest in this investigation. Good morning, Sia.
Good morning, ladies. Earl's family held a press conference in Chicago on Monday as they demand transparency from the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. Now, Earl's grandmother, Connie Widener, says she called 911 because her grandson was having a seizure in her home. But she says now she has nightmares about that decision. At some point during the call, Jasper County deputies placed Earl in restraints. Widener and other family members say those deputies also placed Earl face down and were on top of him. They believe that ultimately led to his death. 26-year-old Riker Earl died September 8th, leaving 2 children behind. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office issued a statement about Earl's death, saying they placed him in handcuffs for his safety and everyone else's, but Earl's family disagrees.
I couldn't save him that night. I called 911 thinking that they were going to come and help him.
I showed up. His hands was handcuffed behind his back. He was flat on the floor. There's 2 people on his upper body. A police officer on his legs. He said, "I can't hold his legs. I can't hold his legs. I need somebody else on here."
Now, Earl's family members met with civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, and they want to see that police body cam. We'll hear from attorney Crump and what he believes about this case coming up next on Sunrise at 6:30.
All right, we'll check back in with you then, Sia. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
And this morning, we're finding out the extent of the damage after severe storms hit several communities here in central Indiana.
The National Weather Service now confirms that 2 tornadoes hit Jay County and another tornado hit Delaware County. So Jay County emergency management officials say that the tornadoes left 38 homes with some sort of damage from minor to major. Other properties were also hit, including the Jay County High School. Classes were canceled yesterday at the school because of that storm damage, and emergency officials say there were no injuries, but Kyle Love called it the scariest moments of his life.
It's like getting a sucker punch out of nowhere and you didn't see it coming. A lot goes through your mind in a short amount of time. Being able to know where I'm at, take a deep breath, and say you're going to get out.
Well, one of the emergency management officers initially spotted the rotation and made the call to set off the sirens.
Well, in just a few hours, students in Kokomo will be back at Taylor Elementary School after that storm Friday night took the roof off of that building. School staff were helping clean up yesterday ahead of students coming back to class today. The superintendent tells 13 News the storm affected at least a half a dozen classrooms and the gym there. This damage not from a tornado though, but straight line winds. Rosie Gowdy, she's a teacher. She teaches 2nd grade, and she tells 13 News that she was in the building when the storm hit.
It was very loud, and that the noise is what I thought I really should probably back away from the glass. But when I saw the roof just lift up and just fall down, and just as loud as it was.
Scary situation there. Luckily, no one was injured. Everyone will be back in the building for school tomorrow. This morning, a verdict in an emotional hearing. A woman sentenced for killing 3 Fishers teens in a crash. Why the only surviving victim says the sentence still isn't enough. This story's at 6:45. And this morning, all eyes are on world leaders as they meet for the United Nations General Assembly. This comes after a deadly few days in the Middle East. So what's at stake during the meeting? We have that at 6:15. We'll be right back.